Guys, I'm cooking lunch. I'm cooking a brown butter sage pasta, and it is the most delicious, simple pasta I have ever tasted. If you're after something that's really quick with lots of flavor and you don't want to be cooking like vegetables and meat or like a sauce, this is the pasta you will want to cook. It's brown butter sage pasta. I've got pine nuts and breadcrumbs being toasted in a pan. This is optional, but I find that it just adds that extra pizzazz at the end. You will use this as your topping, and it just adds a bit of like nuttiness and crunch. I use the wrong type of breadcrumbs. You're supposed to use like a more coarse one, like closer to like a panko breadcrumbs is best. This one's fine breadcrumbs, but that's okay. And the pine nuts, and if you don't have pine nuts, you can leave that out, but I would say add the breadcrumbs. It just adds that texture. It's beautiful. I'm going to boil the pasta. So if you don't need oil to cook your pasta in, just wait for it to boil, then add about probably half a tablespoon of salt. Now salt lowers the temperature of the water, so wait for it to boil up and bubble up again, and then add your pasta. You don't need the oil to kind of separate the pasta, because the boiling bubbly water will make your pasta not stick together. So I'm going to use vegetable spirals. Spirals are my favorite shapes, but I'm just going to cook this. I think it only takes about like 10 minutes, and that's probably the amount of time that it takes to cook this entire dish. The key ingredient to this pasta is sage, and you need fresh ones, not dried. So you can get like a plant sage, and you can pick the leaves off. I did that, and it was great because I could have this dish multiple times over and over again, but the plant died. So I got this in a packet, and you need about 3 leaves per person. And you're just going to wash and chop these up really finely. If you don't use the stalk, roll it up like this so you can chop it up really fine. So I've put the breadcrumbs and the pine nuts in a bowl, and back to the pan. We're going to melt over a low heat about 30 grams of butter per person. I don't know how much that is. I just put in a knob like that. This is the sage that I've cut up. You really want to use fresh sage for this. Dried won't work. And once that's melted, I'm going to put the sage in, and I'm just going to watch it melt, and I'll show you what that looks like in about 45 seconds. So the pasta is cooked and al dente, and the butter is starting to go brown. That's great. So once it starts to go brown, just turn it off, and I'm going to bring the pasta over. Oh, some pasta was lost in the making of this video, but here you go. Just stir it all over the brown butter, and it will soak up the butter. Oh, that smells so good. If you have cheese like Parmesan, that's the best. Grate it over, let it melt, and sprinkle this on top. That's how it looks at the moment. Don't forget salt and pepper. Other extras you can put in here is like little chopped up bits of salami or bacon, little bits of broccoli. Those would be amazing, but this in itself is already perfect. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's so good. I put chili flakes in there as well. Amazing. You have got to make this at home.